This might be a short stream, don't know. Really, all I wanted to do today is start setting up some dummy calls that I can use in my two apps, React and Unity, to get a dummy play log. I kind of thought I'd just put it in the app and just let it work off that, but I've got the functionality to make calls and pull information. So what I'm thinking of doing is just creating a dummy play log call that it'll feed it back. So I have that actually already in existence so that when I actually start plugging in data to it, it'll start feeding actual responses. Now, what I want to do, I haven't figured out how I'm going to like implement some of the actions. And so I'm going to be working with AI again, as I always do. Most of my work is, in some way assisted by AI because I don't know a lot of the stuff I'm doing. But I do know enough about structuring the app, and that's what I'll continue to work on here. So, current plan is okay. So I have this simulator. This is my app that's or my service that's going to be called when I'm ready to start the game. Now, certain things are going to happen when I start a game. I'm going to have a call to the application that's going to say, okay, we want to start a game. Click. This is what we're doing. Now, I believe in that process. I'm going to have. All right, let's open up Unity, and I'll show you kind of where things are going. I could probably do this also from. Actually, Unity's probably better, to be honest, because I have an actual page of what I want things to look like at startup. I kind of have that in React also, but in React, it's got two buttons that are partially working versus Unity's look of a complete page that's not not working at all. It's just a bunch of buttons. That's really all they are. They're image buttons that represent what they're going to be at some point in the future. Now, the idea here is I can start one. So what I want to do is perhaps create a link that lets me select the kind of game I want to run and then click kickoff. Kickoff is the start command, the command that's going to say, okay, well, we're doing this, and bam, we're doing that. So now there's a lot of infrastructure that has to go into that because some of those buttons have to actually set something up, right? They have to, like say if you say you're going to do a league game would have to go say, oh, well, based on the user, he's doing his league game. You would click kickoff and it would pick whatever game your active league is going to run. Now, I may even have to go deeper than that because if a player can have multiple teams, they could be in multiple leagues. So you might not be able to kick off certain kinds of commands. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to plug in a quick play. Because a quick play is going to be the most basic. All it does is going to go find a team for your team to play against. And then run the game. So that's going to be like the simplest, fastest, most generic game. So your team, whatever its current state will be, will run against this other team. So I'm going to have it be pretty dumb. It's not going to have a lot of the your team versus their team, blah, blah, blah. In my case, I'm going to have this action that you pick quick play. That'll be the highlight, and you hit kickoff, and it's just going to go call the run game. Run game's going to go, hey, I don't have anything to do. I don't have any information here. But I do know the format of what you need, and I'm going to send it back to you like that. And then I'll have the UI kind of try to do something with that data. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to start throwing stuff up on the screen. Have it return generic stuff, just dummy stuff that's very simple. A basic, like what I might even have as a condition of, if this doesn't exist, return this dummy data. And then this way I can use dummy data for a while. And then as I start adding stuff, I can go, hey, this exists. And then it'll start returning real data. That's how I want to kind of set that up. So as we get to running here, this is what my start page kind of looks like, and this, you know, what it'll look like in Android. There it goes. Android, this is a foldable screen, like a Galaxy Z Fold. This is actually the format of a Z Fold 3, not mine, which is a Z Fold 5. I don't know if they're planning to put more on here. I don't know why they only have a 3, and I don't know how to get more on here. I would assume at some point in the future they will add more, and then I will work off of a 5. Just because I want to work off of my phone. I want my phone to be the primary. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to matter much. The variation is millimeters. You know, it's not significant. There's a few things that might not be affected as much, like say the little camera button might not be there. I think they actually added in a functionality now where the camera doesn't actually create a black spot. It actually will show through the camera. I don't know how they do that, but it does. I think so, because it looks like that on mine, so it really doesn't have an interference. Plus, I believe the border is thinner even. It's like edge to edge. It's like super small. But again, I don't think... Thing is, I was going to try to create one, but then you have to create the border to make it look... The 3 is close enough for now. It's just appearances. So anyway, so what I want to do is we'll have a... let's see, maybe it is head-to-head. I thought it was quick play. Oh, you know what? I don't think I actually have a quick play. I haven't actually successfully created a quick play mode. Head-to-head's good. I guess that could be quick play. Head-to-head's a bad name, to be honest. It should be quick play. Just because I don't feel like that's a very good name. Head-to-head, because they're all head-to-head. Every game is you playing someone else, right? I mean, how else would that be? So coaching mode is if you play a game in coaching mode, it means you're going to pick your own plays. And that's not an option yet because I don't have play feedback yet. Actually, I think the mode I want to use is scrimmage, not quick play. Because scrimmage just means it's practice. Now, I was even thinking of having modes of scrimmage. Which is just, when you open it up, it would have an option of league scrimmage, which means your players on your team can gain experience, but they can also be injured. It's a league scrimmage. You're playing a game against some other team, and it's going to allow your players to get experience, but there's a risk of injury. The other option is friendly, which means there will be no injuries, and the game is just for fun to see how your team matches up against theirs, but your players can't earn any experience. And it really has no effect on your cards or anything. It's just kind of a like, hey, let's see how I can do. You know, test your team up against the world kind of thing. But you won't be able to earn. If there's no risk, there's no reward kind of thing. And if there's no risk of injury, then it's not like a real game, not real people. They're just digitized. So it's just for fun to see how it goes. Anyway, so what I want to do is add some kind of a highlight to clicking the scrimmage. So let's see if we can get that in. How difficult can that be, right? So let's see what happens. Let's see if I can get that going. I don't know what the complexity to that is, but hopefully we'll know soon enough. I'm going to push this out of the way for now. I gotta position things on my screen so that they don't take up too much space. Okay. So let's see what it takes to get a little highlight on my buttons to make it look like. I'm thinking a yellow highlight, something just to show, or red. Let's try it out. This is just about building up a base simulation. Get it in place, see what happens. Now I can go as far as to do even less than that and just say, screw all this, let's just go into the on-field scene and just start implementing. But I kind of like the idea of having a route to get there. Just because it starts making it come to life. And you have a little piece working over here, a little piece working over there, but they're not attached. It's more interesting when you're like, it's all attached. It just makes it feel more like the game is coming to life. There's stuff happening now with button clicks and such. And I've already got the buttons there, and I don't think it should be too big of a deal. But like I have told you before, and in my experience has become that nothing in Unity is quick and easy. It's just such is the way of life. Oh, whoa. Yeah. What did I click on? That's this. That is the button on the navigation panel. That's okay. So the one I want is actually this. Why is it zooming like that? Holy cow, I just want to go to the panel. What is that? Why is it zooming in? F is supposed to take you to the center page. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's turn this off though. Okay, so we'll turn on, we got to make my playbook panel visible. Oh, not playbook. I'm sorry, simulation. All right, so probably add it to all of them. I mean, there's no reason to add it to just one, but I have several buttons on my Unity panel. On my Unity, let's call it let's see what call it a simulation panel. That when clicked should simply highlight with a border on them. I would like to do a cool border. Like right now, I'm just going to do a red or yellow, but something that's kind of like sparkly, kind of like, you know, something that shows it's on fire. It's like, hey, this is the one we're about to do, you know. That would be cool. I don't know how to do that, and that's probably going to take shaders and other things I know nothing about. I'm so dreading the artistic factor of all of this. It just because it feels like it's so out of my reach. But I'm gonna keep going, just keep plugging in, try to make the best game I can without that stuff. And if I can think about ways to do it later, I will do it. But I haven't quite figured that out. So we'll see. Now I tried to create a bunch of my buttons all in once so that it would create similarly set items in AI, but it can never get all the buttons right. So you can see my scrimmage thing up here looks a little different from the rest of them. And that's a lot because AI could not get 5 buttons right. It could only do like, I had 6 buttons on there, or 8 buttons even, and it could not get them all themed all right because some of them would misspell them or do some weird thing for the graphics, and it was just always not what I wanted. And as a result, I ended up with I had to take a button that was a different style in order for me to use it. So you can see they're all kind of, it's the one, which of these guys does not belong here, but per the old Sesame Street, which of these things do not belong? There was a song, which of these do not belong here. Didn't they sing it that way? Maybe not. I just always picture Sesame Street as everything is by song. I don't know, everything, all the famous skits were songs. Buttons are all on my sim type panel where select type game simulation they want to run. So in this, we'll see how, like I said, how quickly I can get this to come out. Basically, I'm just putting in a toggle or an option button array of coaching, league play, scrimmage, and head-to-head. Kickoff will be the start. So you click that after you've selected one of those. It might even be kind of cool to have some kind of a button or line that draws to it when you click scrimmage. It'd be kind of nice to have a line that points from one to the other and just have like a football that moves up and down on it to show that they're getting ready. I don't know, it might be overkill. I don't know. I keep getting these cool animation ideas in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I can. Good, yeah. Good luck with that. Like, okay, so I've been thinking about the problem I had Friday. I decided I wanted to do this simple little thing to see if it was possible to do it quickly, and that was the zoom. Now, I have a zoom screen. You click, it pops up. A little bit like, it's a lot like Marvel Snap. You know, you click on one of their cards, boom, it pops up. It's a bigger card. You can read the details, that kind of thing. But it's very generic. But I thought, I still kind of like the idea of an animated zoom. So you click, and it goes, you know, kind of back from the card it was to the card it is. And so I've been thinking, okay, so I've created these cool resizable controls. Part of the problem is there's timing issues with how resizing works. And so if an object is in the process of resizing, it'll keep trying to update itself, right? It'll go, it doesn't like stop, update, and then go to the next. Stop, update, stop, update, stop, update. So if I wanted to zoom, I would literally have to be stopping long enough for it to complete its update to zoom up. Now the other option is, since it's so fast, the zoom would just be really all I need is the card and its basic look, right? Like if there was a way to do something like snap a picture of the zoom, make it big, just make it grow into the big card image, right? So I'm just trying to think, is there some kind of way to freeze frame a panel and then zoom it up? I don't know if such a thing exists. I don't think there is. That would be kind of interesting. So if I could now it wouldn't look very good, right? Because I don't think there's enough details. You don't want to like freeze frame a micro screen. Like if it actually could take a picture and then zoom it up, it's just going to get really pixelated and look garbage, right? You're better off with a big image that gets captured and shrunk down than a little image that gets captured and brought up. But if you can capture it and then just put an image on top of it and grow it, then that's going to be more feasible. But these are some things I don't know if they're practical, if they're if you can actually do that. And I mean, capturing images and then using those as your zoom image. Yeah, see, I don't know how that would work. Especially when the initial state is small. So when you have a small image, it's going to be an issue. All right, let's go do this. Let's get this in place. But like I said, I have some other ideas. I haven't given up on the zoom plan, the zoom animation. I just don't know yet how, when I'm going to do that. Here's. All right, so let's go sim type button manager. It's going to be nice, and let's go open this up. And so as you know, I've once again changed the name of my game after a discussion with a viewer last week who was talking about his game that he created a new name on. I have been struggling with the name of my game, and mostly because it just feels clunky. They started off as professional pro football fantasy manager. It's kind of long. And I said, let's put the fantasy in front. Fantasy pro football manager. Sound a little smoother, but it was still long. It's a long title. And but I want the fantasy to be in there without saying fantasy football, right? Fantasy football. So I needed to have something that calls out that it's more than just fantasy football. So by giving it a title and expressing it with interesting character, I thought this might not work. So you give it a fantasy look and then call it fan. And then I decided to go with Fantasy Football, which I actually thought of this name a long time ago when I was conceiving the board game that I created for. Does basically the same thing. The idea is that with fantasy football is that it's like A to Z football. You got everything in it. It's got management and players and drafting and scouting and control and simulation, but it's not simulation like play. So it's probably not A to Z. We'll call it A, B, C, D, E, and F. A, B, C, D, and E, it's not there. That's the gamey. But if you're a fan, everything from being a fan to Z, which is everything else. So that's what it is. So I thought I like the name. It kind of sticks to me. It feels cleaner. I can call it F to Z, which is short. Like it could be the F to Z would be the icon maybe, so people can kind of see it. Like if it's on Android and all you have simple text. If you're doing 3-letter headings, that works pretty good. Just something like that. So I figured, well, it kind of works. And then I was able to go create some images that actually look kind of good. I like it. So you'll see that in my icon or my stream every now and then. I'll be using that when I have less interesting progress pages. So, all right, let's go figure this out. So we got the, I have game processing. Do I want to put under game processing? Game data, game setup, run game. Let's go. I think I'm going to put it under run game, which should probably just be simulator or simulation, which I should probably just call. I'm going to rename this. We'll call it simulation. Because I'll call it simulator. All right, because that's what it's called on my backend, which it is the simulator. It's everything that is the simulator. So we're going to go ahead and go sim type button manager. I'll just put that in there. Add new item. Sim type. Dang it. Button manager. Dang it. .cs. And let's just copy all this in there. I don't know what this is going to do for sure. Create button highlight. For each button in your SimType panel, create a child object to serve as the highlight border. Set their default state to inactive, unchecked in the inspector. All right. Oh, I kind of see how I see where it's going with this. All right, so we're going to go into my buttons. All right, can I go now? It's like 1 second you think it's done, and then it's like, ah, not so much. All right, so we're going to add a UI. Just set an object. Create a child object to serve as the highlight border for each button. What is a child? Just any old object? A UI. What should this child object be? Set the default state to inactive. So a button or just... Set of instructions, state. I don't want to try to type this out. Should I do a button or an image or just a thing? I mean, what's you could be anything, right? I mean, it says each button create a child object. Just a game object? Just a plain old everyday game object? Create empty game object? I feel like it should probably be an image, right? Something that's kind of big that can fill in. For each button in your SimType file, right-click on the button hierarchy. So it is. It's an image. Name it highlight or button highlight image. So UI image. Wait, do I want a raw image? It just says image. All right, well, I'll go with image. I'll call it replay highlight image. Name it highlight or button highlight. I guess it doesn't have to have the title in it. I think these things are all pretty contained. Highlight image. Set its rect transform to fill the button. Anchor preset to stretch. Semi-transparent, white, blue. I don't want to do white, blue. It doesn't know what colors I have on my thing, so we're going to change this. We're going to go semi-transparent. I want to go with like yellow. We'll try yellow, and if I don't like yellow, I'll try something else like a dark red. It doesn't need to be too obvious. I wish I could do something cooler like sparkly or something, but zero. I would think it has to be bigger though. Doesn't it have to be bigger? Initially set it to inactive. In the inspector component, add all these highlight objects to your button highlights. list. Ensure each highlight corresponds to the course. Okay. Name the highlighter button highlight. Style the highlight. Set the rect transform to fill the anchor. Choose a highlight color. Semi-transparent. It says semi-transparent, so what is that, like half? About half. In the inspector for your SimType button manager, component. Well, it hasn't said to add that, but I'm assuming it means it wants me to add that. So we're gonna go. We'll go to the SimType panel, add this component, and we'll go SimType button manager. Oh, interesting. Huh. All right, so we have to add. Can I drag and drop this? Huh. Interesting. Oh, that's the highlights though. Whoops. Nope. Change that. It's the highlight I want. I should probably add the buttons. That would be the first button, league play. And we'll add in coach mode. And then we'll add in head to head. And we'll add in scrimmage. And then we'll go down here. 1, 2, 3. Put one in there. One in there. And one in there. And then we'll get rid of the 1. And the 2. And the 3. All right, and then we got to go back up to the panel and drag this guy down here. Oops. And that one's that, and then this guy is this one. And this guy is this one. Oh, shoot. And then this guy is this one. Click on them to make sure that they are, in fact, that one. Yep. All right. All right. In the inspector, blah, blah, add all the highlights. List, ensure each highlight corresponds with. This creates the visual feedback system shown in your code. So it says, all right, let's see what it does. It just says it's done. So that's all. That's all. Wait, with corresponding group manager. Oh, wait. I got to have it. I didn't do this, whatever this is. Alternative implementation. For a more modular approach, you can use a separate component for each button. Nah, this one's okay. This isn't optional, so I'm not going to do a... They are one big happy family of stuff. With a corresponding group manager. Now let's see what this does. Might not do anything, but we're going to find out. Oh, that is... Whoa, that is terrible. Okay, so... Yeah, that is... Oh, you know... Wait, that is... Wait, that totally did not do anything. Okay, so... 1... I didn't do anything. What is that? What did I set wrong here? Attach the script to your SimType panel. I did that. Drag all simulation buttons. Yeah. Drag all. Yeah. Visual customization. Design your button highlight borders using UI image components with transparent centers. Oh, I gotta actually put images in there. Transparent centers. Design your button highlight borders using UI image components with transparent centers or outline effects via the Unity UI extensions package. Or 9 slice sprites with border emphasis. Jeez. Okay, so I'm going to need to do some stuff first. Visually appealing way to implement this, and any steps you can provide in doing so would be helpful. Now, asking AI its opinion on what is the most visually appealing is probably not the best plan. It's probably like, the AI is like, well, I really like the robot version where it's very basic and just has a yellow line. Oh, okay, let's see what this does. Create a highlight image prefab. A highlight image prefab. Okay. Let's go do this here. Prefabs. I'll just go new. Let's see. In your project, right click, create UI image. Highlight image prefab. In your project panel, right click, select create UI image. Create UI. Wait, it says in the project panel, right? Right click, create UI image. Where's UI? UI image is not a thing. Not in the project window anyway. I thought there'd be one, but core, terrain, shader, scripting, scene, rendering. Is there something over here? Show, copy, view, import, import. Huh. Well, golly. Project panel, right click, select create UI image. Doesn't work. Create, and there is no UI image. And in the project window, the create menu does not have a sub UI menu. Instead of creating through the project window, in the hierarchy panel, right click on one of the sim type buttons, select game object UI image. Or if that's not available, use game object, create empty, name it button highlight. Oh, are we changing our buttons already? I did the UI image, game object button UI image. I already have that. Configure the rect transform, hold alt key, stretch the stretch option. Oh, that's right. I need to do, when I do this, I forgot the, this actually makes the image be that size. It's kind of important. Create a simple border effect. For a clean border without a special sprite, set the image component color. I wonder what kind of you know what? I'm gonna use my I'm gonna use some of my ChatGPT-ness. Oh, it's already making demands. What? Stupid. Okay. Wasn't even news. Wasn't even news. I don't even know why I got distracted by it. Okay, so ChatGPT. I need a. Let's go gold. Gold border effect image. It needs to have inverted / concave curved corners. And otherwise, it should be can it do like fancy stuff like gold sparkly? I don't think it can do that. I need a gold border effect image. I need to have it should have inverted concave curved corners. Otherwise, a gold border. Let's do this. Highlight effect image should have inverted / concave curved corners. Otherwise, it should be corners with no background and no center area. All right, it's going to be a super easy one for ChatGPT, or easy to process. Maybe not so easy to come up with what I want, but it's not like, it's like, oh, I don't even have to think for this one. I would imagine it's quick. Now, it's, of course, that's only going to be as quick as, you know, AI will let it be, because there's like 1,000 people who are paying are probably going to get first priority over me. My hands are cold, man. They're like freezing my arms. I mean, you know, got to make these buttons be more than just visual, right? Oh, no, that's not, those are not, what am I doing wrong when I say concave borders? I mean, that isn't bad, but it has to have inverted corners. Let's just say concave. I only get 3 tries, so I have to figure out how to get this to do what I want. Can't do it. It does not know how to do inverted corners. I don't know how to. All right, let's try one more thing. Let's see what happens. I mean, it's good, but it would be better if it was taking what it says. Let's add a photo. Let's see if I can get this to do it. My last try. Well, I mean, I can use other things to try to get a couple more tries, but if I don't want to go burning anything else too quick, let's try this one. I need this image with a gold border. As a highlight. What I might do, if it works, oh, it's actually going to give me 2 responses. Ooh. I prefer this response. Well, they look like the same response to me. Lots of people are. Is it going to give me 2 images, one for each response? Actually, I'm going to also down thumb this thing because I was not impressed by your craziness, because this did not follow the prompt. Did not fully follow instructions. Ask for inverted corners. And this is what I gave. And wait, what happened? Still thinking? They're the same response, aren't they? Oh. It actually did just give me a highlight. But, you know, that actually wouldn't be so bad. Maybe I should use that. That's actually pretty good. I like this highlight for head-to-head. I mean, it kind of changed my image a little bit. That's the only drawback. But that actually worked pretty good. It did add a background to it, though. I don't like that much, but let's go ahead and download this one. I think I can use that. That means I'm going to have to create one for all the other images. What I'll probably do is give all the images to Sora and see if I can get it to give me a similar response. Now the thing is, do I really create a new image, or do I just like keep that one behind and make it slightly bigger? Not sure how I would do that. Maybe I do that. Because if I create an image that is a replacement image, I mean, that's not necessarily the worst, right? But let's see here with a new image. Color semi-transform. Set image to sliced if you're using a sprite with borders. I don't know what sliced means. What does sliced mean? Let's see. Let's ask.
Hey, Kenneth.
Hey, what does a sliced image mean in Unity?
In Unity, a sliced image refers to a technique used with UI elements, particularly with the image component. It's part of the 9 slicing concept, which allows you to define a border around your image so that the corners stay the same size while the center stretches. It's super useful for creating scalable UI elements like buttons or panels, ensuring they look good at any size without distortion. Are you into game development or working on something in Unity?
Yes, I was just trying to put a border on some buttons, and it mentioned using a sliced image, and I don't know what that is.
Got it. Using a sliced image for borders in Unity is a smart move. The trick is to create a 9-sliced sprite where you define the borders that won't stretch and the areas that can expand. This way, your buttons look crisp and clean regardless of their size. Want a quick rundown on how to set up a sliced sprite?
Sure.
All right, here's a quick guide. 1. Create or import your image into Unity. 2. Select your image in the project window, and in the inspector, set the texture type to Sprite, 2D and UI. Click on the Sprite Editor button. 4. In the Sprite Editor, define the green lines to create a 9 slice. These lines determine which parts of the image stretch and which stay the same. 5. Apply the changes and exit the Sprite Editor. 6. Now when you use this sprite in an image component, you can set the image type to sliced and it'll scale beautifully. Give it a go, and your buttons will have those neat borders in no time.
So if I have a button that the corners have a little shape like they're inverted curves, which parts do I stretch and which parts do I not stretch? Do I stretch the corners or do I stretch the sides?
You'd want to keep the corners intact and only stretch the sides and center. Here's how it breaks down. The corners with those inverted curves don't get stretched. This preserves their unique shape. The sides and the center can be stretched. This lets your button grow or shrink while keeping those fancy corners looking sharp. So, when you're setting the borders in the sprite editor, place the green lines just inside those curved corners. This tells Unity to stretch everything inside those lines, leaving the corners untouched. Try it out, and your button should look just right.
Okay, guess I'll try it out. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to actually have something a little weird though. So I've got to go into my, I'm actually going to use the same image, even though they're all different. I'm going to put it in a state it's behind, so it should not be visible, I think.
Interesting approach. If it's behind other elements, your sliced image won't be directly visible, but its size and shape could still impact the layout. It's often used for effects like shadows or backgrounds. Play around with it and see how it interacts with your UI. Unity's pretty flexible, so experimenting is often the best way to get the results you want. Let me know how it goes, or if you need more tips.
Okay, so let's see. I'm going over this in my head. How do we make this work? Okay, so I think I'm going to have to open this up in my own editor first and get rid of the outside edges. That's important. I don't like the outside edges. Uh, I'm thinking that this must be sitting on top, right? So when it becomes visible, it essentially just takes over the button. And that means I have to wipe out the middle. which might not be that hard. Let's see what happens. Let's see, we're gonna go here and we're gonna go, let's erase the junk in the middle. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna go eraser. How big of a thing is it giving me? It's not big enough. We'll go, take it out to that one. Oh, let's go really big. See how risky that is. All right, so really that's what it gave me? That don't seem big. Is that the big one? Huh. All right, am I still waiting? Still thinking about doing something? Or is my screen just wigging out on me? Oh, there it goes. All right. All right, so let's just wipe this stuff out. I don't like doing it this way, but it seems like I don't have a choice. There's not like a lot of ways to make I'm hoping all right. So I was thinking about a tool I wanted to try to write and add in another little vibe coding thing I wanted to try. Yeah, I call it vibe coding, but really I have yet to get a vibe coding app that actually works the way I want it to on the first try. Even when I think it's pretty simple. I mean, it got me pretty far with my app for creating an OBS thing, but it's never quite what you expect. So, I don't know. Vibe coding is okay. It's not the most amazing thing in the world. And I'm impressed that people come up with anything, but I think a lot of people give up when they have to start changing their app. Because, yeah, vibe coding can help them. But if they don't know how to do the other coding and they don't know what they need to fix, some people will just go, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's go try something else. You have to be able to troubleshoot your app. All right, well, there we go. Now let's see if I can wipe out these corners some. Luckily my screen is pretty small, but I don't like, it's such a nitpicky thing, you know? Trying to draw straight lines with a mouse is just not fun. That's why I've always been impressed by people who can draw on a computer. And Unity has this thing. It's, I don't know what it is, but it can tell when you erased stuff. It'll go, oh, well, there, let me put some of that back. It's like, no, don't put it back. It's like it can tell because it's like maybe you missed something or the erasing thing didn't actually erase everything. So whatever the algorithm here that's trying to erase stuff is missing things. And Unity sees those things, pixels here and there. And as a result, you end up with this spotty, weird highlight. So I don't know, we'll see how this works. So my daughter went to go see Sinners, and I wanted to see it. I actually invited her to go see it, but she couldn't go. She had something else going on, and then she decided to go with her brother instead. I get it. She doesn't like. I mean, she doesn't. I think she's embarrassed by going places with her dad. I don't know. Maybe she feels uncomfortable, like people are thinking it's a date or something. You know, it's like going places with me is unless she's with her friends or something. Like I'm taking her and her friends somewhere. She feels uncomfortable. So I get it. She's not real comfortable going places. So I don't push it. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice because she has interest in the same movies I do, so it'd be cool to go. But some of the same movies. She's got her own thing too. But I've said this before. My interest in movies is wide. I can watch anything, but when I want to see a movie, it's usually something typically guy related, you know, like action movies, superhero movies, that kind of thing. Now, this is going to look kind of weird, but I don't know if it'll look too bad because, for one, see, this thing is not consistent, so I have to move weird. I tell you, creating straight lines is impossible because it doesn't erase in a straight line. See, and then it does that. And I have to do this, and then it goes undoes everything. And when I go to try to adjust, it does other dumb stuff. I'm moving my mouse so it only goes one direction. I hate it. All right, let's try it. Hopefully this will work. So we'll save this out to, we'll call it, go to my FPFM, call it border. Button border. And then we'll stop it. I'll take my newly created button border. We will take it and drop it in here. I'm going to do that. Let's drop it under my images. Common. Wait, is that the one I put in there? That's not the one I just put in. Or maybe it is. See, it does weird things. Like it knows what I erased. Oops. See, it's like, how did it know all that stuff was there? I saved it and had every piece of information that I erased was put back. So I gotta do this. Now how do I do this? Slice, sprite editor, custom physics shape, secondary textures. What do I do? Green, okay. All right, so I'm obviously missing something here. Secondary pivot, pivot mode. All right, so that's definitely not. I don't. Whoa. All right, so I don't know how that is. Multiple? What did I do? Automatic texture is an incorrect format. I do not know what I'm doing. All right. I have a button border. How do I make it into a 9 sprite slice? That's right, 9 sprite slice. I knew it was something slicey. To do UI single, make sure read write enabled is checked. Okay, click apply. Define nice. Click the sprite editor. Okay. Oh, it says single. Never mind. Now we open sprite editor. Okay. Sprite editor. Locate the border section in the toolbar. Oh, right. Okay. Adjust the green lines that appear on your sprite. I don't see any green lines. Locate border section in the toolbar, usually on the left. Well, it says border down there. Adjust the green lines. So if I go 10, what does that do? Oh, so are those the green lines? Is that the one it's talking about? Doesn't really look green, but all right. Drag to where the left edge ends. Okay. Right border, drag to where the right edge starts. Oh, okay, so I think like that. Say drag to where the left edge ends, where the right edge starts. Drag to where the left edge ends and the right edge starts. So like that one. Drag to where the top edge ends and the bottom border, drag to where the bottom edge starts. Maybe it's actually thinking something like this, because that makes sense, kind of. Because it would go, these parts can grow and these parts cannot. I think that's what I want. Click apply. Click apply. Is there an apply button? Select your button on the highlight image button. Oh, all right, let's close this. I guess I can close it. Apply, top left corner. All right, we'll see what that does. Select your button or highlight image object. In the inspector panel, set the source image to your 9 spec. Okay, so we're going to go here. And the source image is going to be this guy. Optionally, check fill center if you want the center portion to be visible. No, I do not want the center portion to be visible. If you want rounded corners, make sure preserve aspect is unchecked. I'm just going to see what one image does. All right, what image did I put that on? I put that on League Play. All right, so in theory, let's go see what this does. Let's see if it does anything. Because right now, none of these buttons work. They don't do anything. I'm not even sure that the buttons click. It's pretty far off what I want, but... Ew. 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 That's not even the size of the button. Why did that shrink? Wouldn't be so bad if it was like, you know, stayed where it was supposed to. Okay. I applied the 9 sliced image, but the highlight image just appears on top of the button in the center, not extended. Hey, Leaf. No. Sorry, man. There's probably better people to find that answer out there in the world. In the center, appears on top of the button in the center. Not extended out to the borders. To the borders. Dude, there's a million other people live right now. You can't find someone who knows something about economics? There's got to be somebody out there who's... I mean, some of the people, I guess, online probably don't reply to everybody who asks questions. I mean, maybe people talking about economics are only doing videos. That's probably true. I would imagine it's not the most streamy topic. People might make YouTube videos about that kind of stuff, but you can't really talk to them, can you? Yeah, I guess I can see a problem. I suppose that is an issue. Yeah, I can't. I couldn't provide any really useful skill in economics. I mean, I know basics, you know, some stuff, I guess, but nothing I could be helpful with, I'm sure. On right transform position problem. Fix the right transform setting. So I have to set it to its container object. -5. All right, so let's go. Let's try that. Let's go -5. Ah, that's a question that is, you know why? It's because nobody has their stuff, their money backed. So it's kind of like, how do they all? It's like there was a time, right, when we had all of our silver certificates and our money was backed by actual money or actual valuable stuff. But in general now the world does not actually have that anymore. There's more money out there than there is gold and silver to back it. And if they use that, it would be pennies on the dollar. So really, I mean, this has just been what I've learned is that it's really just a matter of um, faith. Yeah, it is kind of backed by faith. But the thing is, it's faith in your economy versus the economy of others, right? So like some economies that are just doing bad and they're struggling and things are going really poorly, don't their money's not worth as much because people are like they're going to be a lot harder to pay things back. The value of their stuff is a lot weaker, and if I'm going to take their money, I'm going to take it in large quantities. Thus, the value goes way down, and you end up getting pennies on the dollar, right? Well, the U.S. economy, even when it's not great, is usually one of the stronger economies in the world. So even though there's a few countries that are probably a little stronger, but then they kind of show, right? Because you got the European Union, their euros are worth a little bit more than the U.S. The yen tends to be pretty close. And again, this is off and on, so one day it could be less, one day it could be more. I don't know what it is currently. So it all has to do with what the perceived strength in the economy that's supporting that money. And the U.S. has just always had a fairly strong perceived strength. And it just really just means are they going to be able to continue to pay their debts, pay off their not only their debts, but are they going to be able to stay steady and strong? And so, well, I'm going to take their money because I know that they're not going anywhere. They have a decent amount of stability in their economy. So, yeah, it's a lot of faith and perceived strength in the backing country's economy. And so, yeah, it's a weird thing, and that's why it's kind of like a bubble, right? Because you just kind of like there's nothing supporting it. So if our economy keeps getting big, somebody at some point you keep thinking one of these days they're going to go, but that's not real, and then we're going to go, we're going to go squish. But it just there's so many things hinging on how our economy does. The U.S. is actually kind of central for a lot of countries, so it's really hard to countries don't want to see the U.S. dollar fall because a lot of people are dependent on the U.S. dollar. It's just the way it goes. Well, yeah, there's a lot. See, that's when things start to get a little bit more. When you start looking at the how much did you put in versus how much did you get out, it's it's for one, you're probably not going to spend $200 to power your PC, right? I mean, you're probably spending pennies. It takes a year. Yeah, if in the course of a month you spend $200 on power, it's not your PC. It's your PC, your lights, your power, your energy, your stoves, everything that's electrical. But what I'm just saying is, it's you're giving out more than you're putting in. But at the same time, Nah, it's not $50 a day. That's a misnomer, man. I could stream all day long, and I might be spending a dollar or two, but it's not $50. Um, so yeah, that's way over, but it adds up. There's no doubt. I mean, in general, yes, but the thought is yes. How much are you putting in to get out? It's kind of like the idea behind electric cars, right? The people say, oh, they're saved so great on energy. Well, that's not nearly true because the amount of energy they're burning to be created and then later destroyed because they have to be destroyed and their batteries have to be destroyed. The damage, the cost involved in all that actually results in people are finding out more and more that they're doing more harm than good, not only in the pollution, but also in the cost of destruction and creation because of all of that goes into their coming into existence and going out. They're actually more expensive to destroy, they're more expensive to build, and they burn a lot more energy in doing so, and they do a lot more polluting. And it's kind of the same thing. I see what you're saying. You know, if you're spending to spend on something else, you're just moving money in a lot of cases. You're giving someone else to get, you know, you're spending something. So yeah, there is a loss. A lot of times, like when you go run a company, right? If you spend, you know, $8,000 to make $8,040, you only made $40. You didn't make $8,040. You made $40 because your cost outweighed your expenses. You know, so or your income. And then you have to say, well, is it worth it? You put all that work in, all that expense in, and you made $40. By the time you did all that, you probably end up spending way more than you wanted. So you got to look at the big picture of what everything's actually costing you, what you're getting, and your time, which is valued at money as well. Did you get what it was worth? The time it takes to spend $8,000 to make 8,040 probably burned a lot more time than that $40 is giving you. You did not make headway on your income. Oh, it's probably worth less. The 200 you gave them is probably worth less, but it's not $50 less. It might be like $2 less. And again, you're talking about the big picture, your loss to their gain. They're getting $200, which means they need 200 and they need $200. And for everybody who's given them something, they are making that money. They are gaining it. But yes, the people giving the money are probably spending a little bit more than the $200. It's kind of like when you buy something through PayPal, right? You give somebody money in PayPal, but PayPal takes a chunk, so they get a little less, or you pay a little bit more. That's why a lot of times people who get money from PayPal, they ask you to pay a dollar more or 50 cents more to offset the cost that PayPal takes. Same goes with Visa. A lot of stores charge extra so that the cost that Visa's taking from them, the extra money that goes out to Visa, isn't a hit on them. So they charge you more. Say, oh, everybody who pays us with a credit card, we're going to charge an extra 50 cents. So now you pay an extra 50 cents because you're using your credit card. So you paid 50 cents more than the product, and you only got the product's value. The product you may have felt was worth the $5, but is it worth $5.50? Because that's what you're going to pay when you use your credit card. So yeah, there's a lot of back and forth on, yeah, you're always, a lot of times your perceived value has to be equal to what that is plus the cost of the extra. Is giving someone $200 worth the extra $5 you're paying in electrical effort? Giving someone $200 on a fundraiser doesn't take you all day. It takes you, 5 minutes. Log in, go in, put in your payment, they get the money. Is the site paying more? The site who's collecting that money for them paying more than the $200 or more than that value? No, because they got 1,000 different fundraisers going on, or 5,000 different fundraisers, and they're going to charge the funds accordingly. So they're going to say, we're going to take 2% or 1% or 2% from all those people, and that's going to pay their daily fees plus multiple other fees. So they're not taking a bunch of money out of the $200. They're taking a little bit. You're paying a little bit. So yeah, it ends up being that $200 going to that person on the fundraiser ends up being you only paid a few, you paid 205, or maybe it ended up costing in total 210 or 211, but that person still got the $200. There's always everybody doing something has that need to make money, right? Everybody feels like we have to make some money. And yeah, I agree with you. I mean, there are some things about it that are kind of messed up, but we don't live in a world where people do things for free. There isn't any website, and it's really not for free. If you really think about it, it's really difficult to do anything for free. You want to do something nice for someone for free. It's not you just giving up your time and effort, putting your computers to work. It's you giving up your money as well as your time effort, because you have to pay, like you said, to keep your computers running and your systems running. So to say, I'm going to do this work for you, set up this account for you, and build this customer base for you, I can't do that for free. I can't do it for free. I can do it so I don't charge you. But for me, I have to pay those other people because they're not doing it for free. The people hosting my website, the people selling me the equipment, they're not doing that stuff for free. So I still have to pay for all that. It's just the generosity of my own heart that says, I'm going to pay for this stuff, and you're not going to feel it. There's not very many places that do that. And so, yeah, it's just the way we live, and it's the way it is all over the world. There's nobody out there doing stuff for free. Somebody is paying for it. You get free healthcare in Europe or wherever the heck they're giving free healthcare in Canada. Somebody's still paying for that healthcare. It's the government or somebody out there is still paying for that stuff. It's just the individuals doing it aren't paying for it. If you want to, just let me know when. All right. Well, I think it's time to go play some pickleball. I don't know if I was any help, Leaf, but there's a lot going on with the economy, and I get it does seem like there's a problem, but it's gonna, in a world where everybody, I don't want to say it's all greed. It's not all greed. Some people do the bare minimum necessary to help others. I mean, they do what they can, and they're not trying to get people. But there are people out there who are doing it for greed. And unfortunately, the greedy people are functioning within the society of even those that are trying to do things out of the kindness of their heart. So you still have to blend. They still have to cross over, and somebody somewhere has to offset that situation. So in order for the economy to work, not only in the U.S., but every other country out there, you have to come up with a way to provide equal value. Everybody's got to value things on their own. And yeah, things are never, all money that moves costs more than it took to move it, or more than the moving of the money. So, because there's a lot of people getting their piece of the pie. So yeah, a lot of times these donation sites are, they raise $5,000, and if the donation site is probably going to take their cut, what I'm sure they are, they may get a little bit less than that. They may get $4,000. I don't know how much the site gets. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, at every level, both individual and at the corporate level, there's money going out beyond what you're giving. But it isn't $50. You're not talking about giving $200 and you're giving up another $50 for helping them. You're giving them $200 plus another $3 for whatever the costs are. Yeah, well, there's different tools for that. I mean, like I stream, right? And if I wanted to donate money, it'd be the same thing. You find ways to donate. There are tools and other ways to do donations. There's a lot of a lot of sites out there offering options for streamers to do donations. Like if you wanted to raise money for somebody, right? Uh, you know, it's also more valuable to the bigger streamers too. It's hard to raise money for somebody when you only have 17 streamers or 17 viewers. Yeah, but I don't think he was paying as much as you think. Yeah, but I mean, like you said, I don't think he was putting that much money into it. Running a computer just doesn't cost that much. It does cost, but it's not. I mean, it's not going to be offsetting. If he raises $5,000 or $200, he's going to be paying a few bucks extra. Yeah, he's, and then in that case, perhaps he is truly donating his cost, the money he's paying, because unless he's going to go, oh well, I'm going to take $5 out of that because I've been running my computers, or $10, then he's not really donating, is he? He's just setting his computers out there to raise the money. Anyway, man, I have to get going. My wife wants to go play some pickleball, and we have a court, so we're going to go hit it before it starts to rain. Thanks. Hey, you have a good one. Sorry I couldn't help. I mean, I can only give you my 2 cents on it. You know, really, it's a lot of it's opinion, but I hope you're able to work something out. You have